Hay muchas historias y experiencias de veteranos que han dejado sus familias, amistades y aún han perdido sus vidas por ir a defender nuestra nación. Hoy conoceremos algunas anécdotas de Eric Rosa, veterano del Ejército de los Estados Unidos. Rosa cumplió 2 turnos de servicio en Irak, antes de mudarse a Massachusetts con su esposa e hijas. Fue elegido veterano del año de la ciudad de Springfield en el 2016.
I was 17 years old when I first decided to join the military. I wasn't sure if I was going to attend college or not. I wasn't a good student in high school. I had a lot of family members that were also part of the military. They had recommended that it would be a good thing for me to do. I did have prior dreams of being an actor. I had taken some headshots and brought them down to a casting agent. And 2 weeks prior to my leaving for basic training, I got a call stating that I had a part available, and they gave me the date for the shooting, and it was the day that I was leaving for basic training. So I had a choice to make, and I figured I can take the chance with acting, or I can better secure my future by joining the military. I met a lot of great people. I learned a lot of amazing life skills, team building and leadership, how to read maps, how to build a fire, how to build a shelter, life safety skills that you don't necessarily learn growing up in the city streets. My job, I was a cargo handler as well as a Bradley tank mechanic. Most vehicles that had come through Iraq, I had gotten my hands on to drive, so that was a very fun experience. Some of the things we take for granted as being US citizens versus people living in a current war zone. We don't live in the same fear that they live in. Their shelter can be bombed at any minute. It's a constant struggle and fear for life, as opposed to fear for, you know, if you're gonna be able to get a meal, or if you need a car ride somewhere. So I think trying to help people understand what's going on there, the reality there, the horror. That's the proper word to use, the horror and the atrocities that are occurring in war zones all over the world. I don't think the reality is fully understood here. When I came home, things were a little difficult. Trying to find work was pretty hard. Every job that I applied to, they would look at the resume and see that I was in the military. And a lot of times the questions were if I had seen death or if I had experienced the death of a close person. And I kept running into this, so I stopped applying for work. And I kind of fell into a depression where I didn't really want to talk about this. I didn't want to burden anybody else with what I had experienced. Having mortars drop feet from where you're sleeping, being shot at every day. It's a constant struggle and fear for life. When you do experience those things, you feel that no one else understands. They didn't experience the same things. They didn't have the same feeling in their heart that you had. But I was always active, so I looked for outlets to where it wasn't where I was gonna socially or vocally express what my troubles were, but I knew how to fight them by staying busy. When I started taking action, I started to see things come that I was asking for, the happiness that I was searching for. Some of the awards that I received since returning home from overseas service, I received a Sports Ambassador Award from the Puerto Rican Parade Committee with my work in the martial arts and teaching kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I also received an award from the Springfield Veterans Activity Committee for Veteran of the Year for the city of Springfield. I was given a proclamation day, which was overwhelming and very nice. I was also given citations by the State Senate, as well as from the city of Springfield. Right now, I'm a fire inspector with the city of Springfield, and I'm also a youth soccer coach. I love Springfield. I've been here 10 years, and when I first moved here and I learned about the history of Springfield, it drew me in even closer, and I wanted to become a part of it. We still have a lot of kids out there that don't have access to certain things. So I would like to be the help to change that. I feel you should help a little bit to those who don't have as much as you have, or those who aren't in as comfortable a situation as you may be in. I'm thankful to be here today, and I pray for those that can't be.